All righty, everyone. We are here live on My City, My Biz Live magazine with none other than the amazing Believe coach, Nick Dillon. And I am just very excited to have him here on the Live magazine. So My City, My Biz Live magazine is a part of our initiative where we revive the economy in our communities, one entrepreneur at a time. And it's usually our 10th year, but this will be our 11th year expo that will be taking place. And so it's based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But we know, true to our mission, that there are entrepreneurs that are right now stuck right in the midst of what's taking place, and they do not want to allow themselves to just stay dormant. They want to make sure that their gifts, their services are out there to the community. And that's exactly what we're using our platform for, to give back, to make sure that those individuals like Mr. Dillon that has really poured into the entrepreneur community around the globe, that we're able to go ahead and bring them to this platform, and so that you can also be able to connect with them, but also be able to support them on their journey, like their YouTube channel as well, but also to make sure that you do continue to support those emerging businesses and those that are aspiring to become entrepreneurs. So, Mr. Dillon, how are you on today?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be able to share in yet another medium or platform and get out there and just really talk to followers, listeners, those who are working remotely, those who are entrepreneurs and really trying to find tools and things that they can look at and ways that they can kind of re-strategize their business. So no, I'm loving this.
Wow. Wonderful. And so I am truly loving it as well that you are here, right here on the Live magazine stage. And so, Mr. Dillon, if you can let us know, you are an executive coach, but you've really coined yourself and you walk it out as well as being that Believe coach. So if you can, first of all, share a little bit about us as Nick Dillon, and then also share with us why did you come up with the title, the name of the Believe coach, please?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I've got the title as the Believe Coach, and that really came about from just my whole life, just from my childhood and from being bullied and
Mm.
going through some challenges at birth and even some medical issues and being able to overcome those things at birth and being able to get out of my own way. And I think the challenge for me as a youngster was I believed I wasn't good enough. I believed I lacked. I would want to live to be alone.
Okay, Nick, I'm not for sure if we still have you. Let's see.
Yes,
Alrighty.
I
Okay.
see. I see Satan is really trying to get busy, but it's
Yes,
okay.
that's right. Oh no, that's okay. We're not about to let that happen.
That's
Yes.
right. You don't want this message out, but it's gonna get out there
It's
anyway.
there you go. That's
You
right.
know, you know. But yes, so I came to believe in me, and part of believing in me is my mission, purpose, and goal in life is to help others to believe in that same right, in that same vein, and live and be our passion and purpose, because that's why we're here.
Yes.
And I think we are all here to be of service not only to ourselves but to others.
Yes. Wow. Wow. And that's
And
the key thing.
anything that we can do to the best of our ability. Yes, anything that we can do to the best of our ability to help others grow is a wonderful thing. I want to be known for helping and adding value to others, and that's my mission, vision. That's why I live. That's why I do this work.
Wow, that is so awesome. It is so great to hear. And you know what? There's always people believe that leadership is all about being on stage or always having the attention on you, or it's all about you. Leadership is more about servitude. who is it that you can serve? And so I just really I applaud you in the work that you do, and I thank you so very much. And so my last question for you before we unleash you on this stage is for you to just tell us why, Nick, as far as with your business, from the business aspect of things, you know how challenging it could be as you're even trying to figure out exactly, okay, what space do I have within this entrepreneurial journey? Maybe the finances, that account doesn't match up with your whole belief, right? But why is it that you wake up every day and you know you, as that belief coach, you're going to continue to have a space in this world to make a people's lives better, to be able to go ahead and serve? So what is that why that keeps you going, that wakes you up and says, yes, this is me, this is what I'm born to do?
Yes, yes, I love it. And to your point, that if we understand that why, then we understand our way, and we
Mm,
understand what we should be doing. So each and every day, my why is I want to make sure everyone's beliefs are in alignment with their passion and their purpose. And if I can do that one individual at a time, whether it's through my quotes I put on Facebook, whether it's through my communications and discussions I have each and every day, if I can touch a life and it's positive, because yes, folks, we got a whole bunch of negativity out there.
mm,
If I can impact the life just one at a time, hey, that motivates me every single day. Every single day I can get up and do that.
yes. Wow. Well, that's it. That's why you are the Believe Coach. That's why you're found on stages across the globe. And also, I mean, you're connected to some amazing individuals that are giants in this world of belief. And so, who
Yes.
are some of those individuals that you've been able to be mentored by, that you've been able to speak on their stages, and also to be able to go ahead and host events with their name on it?
Yes, yes. I've had an opportunity to actually be in the presence of, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, John Maxwell, Lisa Nichols, all of those big name folks that are out there doing this work, doing this
Yes.
passion. And I've learned so much from them in how to survive, in how to continue to grow, in how to find opportunities, even in the midst of what we got going on now. And just to stay relevant,
Yes.
and one of those things that we gotta think about as entrepreneurs, we
That's
gotta
right.
stay relevant. We gotta
Yeah.
stay relevant.
Wow, that's awesome. And that is so amazing. So thank you once again, Mr. Nick Dillon, Coach Dillon, the Believe Coach. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. So the good thing that I wanna say here is that I just want to thank and big shout out to Shantina for her continued grace in all of this, her continued wisdom. And one of the big things that I do, even as an entrepreneur, is I watch her wisdom at work. I watch her giving, and I watch her believing, believe it or not, as she manages the day to day things, not only of what God has put her on earth here to do, but also as she pours into lives of individuals all over. And yes, young lady, I've seen you on some of those big stages as well. And I've seen you do some fascinating things, lighting the fire underneath us to keep us to just keep moving and walking in the direction that we need to walk into. So kudos to you for putting something like this together, because this requires vision and persistence and dedication. And again, moving away from ourselves and looking to reach out and reach one, touch one, to take them to the next level. So I commend you for that and the work that you do and continued work that you do. So I wanted to give that shout out before I get started myself. And so as I start, if you want to get some pencil and paper out, I'm real excited to be able to tell you all about something that I'm working on. And you are, believe it or not, going to get the introduction to it today. And in the coming weeks, you're going to see some stuff on social media where I'm going to really be talking about this in greater detail, and hosting some live discussions and things of that nature as well. So if you want to get a pencil and paper out, we're going to talk about believing and winning in crisis. And as our lovely Shantina has put together, Believing and Winning in Crisis. But what I have done behind the scenes here is I'm working on a program, and this program is just a guide that I want us to think about. Because as you all know, for me, it's about belief and mindset, and everything is going to be driven and action's going to be taken based on your belief and your mindset around what we got going on now. If you want to call this a crisis, pandemic, COVID-19, the corona situation, whatever it is for any of one of us, both professionally or as an entrepreneur, I'm going to talk to you today about what it looks like for us as entrepreneurs, for me as a business owner, to manage through this crisis and still win in this crisis. And so for me, this is a journey, and it's always going to be a journey. And believe it or not, folks, us that are entrepreneurs, it was a journey before we had this pandemic crisis, and it will be a journey after it's over. Okay. And so part of life as we go through life means that we got to be prepared for things to happen. And some of those things that happen, we either are going to respond, or we're going to react, or we're going to be prepared. And so one of the things that I've learned over the years, which is why I continue to grow each and every day, because as John Maxwell has taught us, only, the only way that you have a guarantee that tomorrow is better for you today is that you continue to grow. And so part of what I'm going to be talking you through today is really along the lines of continuing to grow. And so if you have a pencil and paper handy, I want you to write down believe. So BELIEVE. And what we're going to talk about is each one of those letters, and as it relates to believing through crisis. And just know that I only have time to give you a little bit of the abbreviated version of what this whole program is about. You'll hear more about it later, but I just want to drop a little bit of nuggets on you today, just to really take a little deep dive into what I'm working on. And so the first letter, which is the B, is what I term breakthrough. So I want you to write that word breakthrough down, because breakthrough is big in crisis. And the reason breakthrough is big is because breakthrough allows us to be hopeful in the midst of crisis. Because as we operate in this as a business owner, there's a lot of stuff going on. People have been laid off, people have been furloughed, people have gotten reduced work weeks, and unemployment is on the rise. And even for us as entrepreneurs, there may have been some income loss, there may have been some contracts lost, some conferences canceled. All of us, and I'll include even myself. I even wrote this, I've been impacted. I've lost some income. I've had to pivot. I've had to restructure some things. I've had to reshape some budgets. I've had to do all of those things. But I've done those things. And what we have to do in this mindset is we have to believe that the breakthrough is coming. And I want us to just remember that for a moment. That B is believing that breakthrough is coming. Anytime you are on the verge of greatness, anytime you are on the verge of something powerful, anytime you are going through change, it's going to cost us something. And it's going to cost us, in some cases, to work even harder, to dig even deeper, to pray even longer, to do a whole bunch of things that maybe we don't, that seem uncomfortable. But we have to remember, we've got to remember that, that breakthrough is ultimately going to happen for us. And we're going to get to a place where we need to be, but we got to believe that breakthrough is ultimately coming. And when we think about breakthrough, I want you to think about breakthrough as having the opportunity to see like the glass half full. And that means that even in my current situation, I still believe that the end result is going to be a little better. I'm going to come out stronger. I'm going to come out wiser. I'm going to come out smarter. And so when we're going in the midst of breakthrough, resistance increases. We find ourselves running into what may be roadblocks, and it may even seemingly look like everything that could go wrong is going wrong. And guess what, folks? We see that all around us. We see that, businesses are closing. Some of the big national, big time brand names you see are just struggling. But guess what? And so what we often see is the low hanging fruit. Well, if a Kohl's is going to shut down, which they aren't, they'll rebound. But if these big box name businesses are going to shut down, then we sometimes find ourselves going, what is my little business going to do? How am I going to survive? But you got to remember, that's why you have to stay steadfast. That's why we have to stay focused. When you find yourself feeling, that you are just want to give up, that's when you tell yourself the breakthrough is coming. When you finding yourself that you know I'm not getting the clear sign that I need to get from God or the universe, that I need to stick this thing out or do some things right or whatever that looks like for me, I'm just not feeling it. That's when you got to know your breakthrough is just around the corner. Your breakthrough is just ahead. You have to stay diligent, you have to stay steadfast, you have to stay unmovable to manage through this. Because guess what, folks? The ability to manage through this lets you see yet again your level of resilience when something happens in the future. And believe it or not, for some of us, for some of you entrepreneurs out there, you've went through things worse than this right now. You've been through situations in your business or businesses a whole lot worse than this. And so your resilience is shining through it right now. And so when I talk about breakthrough, I'm talking about, even at sometimes there's a reluctance to take action. You know, you're walking by faith. You're calm. You're staying calm. You're determined, but you're at peace. Why? Because you believe. You yourself believe that there is breakthrough coming. Okay. And when I say that word believe, folks, I'm not talking about the behavioral exercise that I stand in the face of you here on this Zoom or in the face of you in front of customers and people and family and friends and say, I believe I'll be okay. No, I'm saying I believe it. And in my mind, I am eliminating all the reasons why it's not going to happen. I'm believing that as I see it and as I believe it, things are going to happen the way I believe and know that they will. Okay. So that's the B in this believing through crisis. The next letter is the E. And in the E is emergence, emerging. We, through our breakthrough, are going to emerge stronger, wiser, better than we were before all of this happened. Why? Because this is going to create a whole different type of intention in you as an entrepreneur. And if we're believing in the right way, and we are confident, and that's a big word, very much confident in our ability to be able to take this thing to the next level. Emerging means that I got a paradigm shift. And what I'm doing right now is I am just finding uniquely creative ways to do things differently, to reach customers differently, to be in service to folks out there who need. That's emerging. And we're emerging and we're doing things a whole lot different than we did do so that we can come out of this still providing the best service or product that we can do right now. For some of us, utilize this time as a incubator, as a testing lab, as a trying things out, as a utilize this time that for innovative and creative ideas to come forth right now, because you got to be thinking in terms of when this breakthrough is going to come through, and I got to emerge through this, and I got to emerge in a big way. And part of that big way means that people continue to remember that during this phase and during this process that we're living in right now, they still felt me. They still heard from me. They still could reach out to me. I still was connected, because that allows us to be right where we need to be, so that when it's time to emerge out of this, we are really ready to run and do what we need to do. So that E is emerge. And then I want to take you to the L. The L is our lessons learned. And I want to just sit on that just for a little minute, because guess what, folks? In life, there are going to be a ton of lessons that we learn in crisis. But how we win is we remember the lessons learned from the past. And we also remember the lessons that we're learning even right now. And we write those lessons learned down. And I'm a journaler, folks, so I journal my lessons on a daily basis. But what I did, even as this started to unravel itself for us, what I did was I found myself getting out my old journals and going through my journals and just reading through what I had journaled in years past, life lessons, life lessons that I had learned from challenges and situations that I had many years ago that are serving me right now today, and allowing me to be able to manage through this, even as I learn new lessons to come. Okay. And I just want to share a few life lessons that are some big life lessons that I've learned here, that I wrote down, that I think are big. Is is that we walk in our own path. Each and every one of us are going to walk in our own individualized entrepreneurial path, and that path is yours alone. So I caution you on looking at how the next person is doing it and what you think you should be doing here and how you should be looking and feeling. Your path is your path. Ask yourself, what does your vision, your goals, your aspirations, what does your purpose and your vision for your business align with in this moment? This is individual work, because at the head of every business is a person. If you're a partner, you're collaborating with your partner. If you're an individual, you're collaborating with individual. If you got a whole board of directors that you got to talk to and converse with, you all are having that conversation about the what can we do right now, and that key word is we or I. But you're doing that individual work that is a lesson that allows us to be able to continue to be relevant and go forward here. Then another one: money never solves the real problems. And I hate to say it, folks, but we're all excited, even maybe some entrepreneurs, about the capital influx into our business, and which is not a bad thing. But I want you to remember that if your business was having challenges with marketing, was having challenges with finding clients, was having challenges with services, with having challenges, any challenges that your business was suffering with before this happened, a little influx of cash is not going to change that. You have to be still diligent in fixing and repairing those things that allows your business to continue to be viable. And that's a life lesson that I learned a long time ago. Your health is the most valuable asset that you will have in today's life business. This COVID-19 has shown us that it doesn't discriminate, that anyone can be affected by it, regardless of how big your business is, regardless of how small your business is. And so I would be remiss to tell you that one of the biggest life lessons I've learned because of my own health challenges is that I got to be healthy. And if I'm not healthy, the business isn't healthy. If I'm not healthy, then I can't impart the knowledge and tools and wisdom of my business to my team to be able to execute. But I got the team who has enough knowledge about the business to allow it to run in my absence, but I still, as the head, have to have the vision to continue forward. So I got to remain healthy. Another big one that I thought was is is and this was a huge one for me that I've learned now, again, life lesson learned before, but it's really coming into fruition now. And that is, it is very, very important to have multiple streams of income, entrepreneurs. That is big. And so that is kicking in as a life lesson, learned and appreciated right now, is having a business with certain areas of focus for me has allowed me to continue to be operational even now. And while some of those things might be considered essential services, that is just the icing on the cake when you're talking about multiple streams of income. And so when you hear that, folks, entrepreneurs, don't discount it. When you hear that, consider that. Think about other different ways that you can generate revenue for yourself, for your family, for your business that can kick in when life is happening, when situations are happening. And we got to be prepared for that, because that leads me to this next life lesson, which I want to share with you. And that is, life is what happens while we're busy making plans. I love that life lesson and quote by John Lennon. Let me say that again. Life is what happens while we're busy making plans. Okay. So that we don't have any control. I'm sure nobody was sitting around saying, you know what? I'm getting ready because the pandemic is coming. No, we weren't ready for this, folks. None of us was. At least I don't believe. But life happened, and this had to be a part of it. This is a part of it right now. So how do we prepare for that? You know why? By learning life lessons. Because guess what this showed me? This showed me that, Nick, from the multiple streams of income to life happening, I have to plan a little differently and also save even more so than I have already done in the past. And so just a little, I'm being a little bit transparent here, because I usually save a lot of money so that during the winter months, if I don't have to go out, I don't have to, because I don't like the winters and I don't like the cold. And for my health, it's just not good for me. So if I'm not doing a whole lot of work in the wintertime, I'm okay. And so it's interesting because I was challenged coming out of the winter months when this happened. And so when I'm really gearing and readying for everything to kind of gear up and the business goes smooth sailing like it has historically, then this happens. Well, it just, again, I had to pivot, I had to shift, I had to realign some things to still make it work. So that L being life lessons is some things that we're going to have to rely on in crisis if we're going to succeed, is really, really, really remember those life lessons, because the life lessons of past will come into fruition today. And the life lessons you learn today will be able to help you tomorrow. And I utilize the mindset of this, folks. And that is, you either are preparing for a crisis, you are either coming out of a crisis, or you're getting ready to go into one. Okay? Preparing for a crisis, coming out of a crisis, or you're getting ready to go into one. Look at life as that type of cycle, because that has to happen for us in order for us to get better, to increase our faith, and to increase our belief in what we have to do and what is for us in life. And so if we have those life lessons and we continue to grow, then we will continue to get through the process and be able to maintain things as life continues. I want to move to the I. So we've got the B, breakthrough; E, emerging; lessons, life lessons is the L, and the I is influence. And I can't stress that enough. And I will say Miss Shantina does this well. And I try to do it as well as possible by building those relationships. So influence, folks, allows us to build and continue to build value. So right now is a time for me, as I've heard from a lot of my mentors, is it's an excellent time for us to build relationships. Excellent time for us to, collaborate, work with one another, team up with one another, be a resource and a guide and a support to one another, because that is allowing us to build influence in a positive way, because you can build influence in a negative way. Because I will tell you, it's in situations like this if you don't have influence, if you don't have relationships, that a lot of people, they may not want to, work with you. They may not want to even hire you. They may not want to have anything to do with you. Why? Because when everything was quote unquote normal, the relationships weren't built and they didn't trust you. And in times of crisis, trust is critical. And if I don't have a level of influence that allows me to collaborate, to be resourceful, to continue to work and be of value to people, then I suffer during this time. And so some of these tools is kind of like us building up for something potentially that could happen like this in the future. And so we've got to be thinking about these things on the back end of, what does my influence look like? How am I building influence with? I got some peers and folks that I collaborate with, that I work with, that are really supportive of the things that I do. I have some family members that support. I have some other business colleagues that support. I have some corporations that are reaching out, even as we go through this, saying, how can we still utilize you in service for our organization? That's because of influence. That's because of the work that you do in excellence, which allows you to elevate your level of influence to be effective. So the I in here is influence. You have to maintain it. You've got to have it. Connecting, having empathy, you know, emotional intelligence, all of those things come about when it comes to influence. And if we can't have that, then we're challenged. And I'm just going to give you a few things that helps to build, that are some key areas of influence, is compassion and empathy, passion and dedication, adaptability, flexibility and wisdom, integrity and humility, optimism and creativity. All of those things, folks, build influence. Whether I'm a service business, or even I sell widgets, or I sell a product, I got to have influence. I still, even in right now today, have to be something that someone can use for me, from me. And how do I get there? A connection has to happen. We've got to communicate with one another. A connection has to happen that allows me, the entrepreneur, to be able to connect with that provider or that vendor or that contractor, to be able to utilize what I'm offering and what I have. But that doesn't happen if I don't have influence, if I don't connect, and if I don't have relationships. Because again, another one of my mentors has taught me, everybody communicates, but few connect. And it's that connecting, folks, that secret ingredient is influence. And when we can build influence, we can build trust. And when we can build trust, we can build relationships. And that's how you remain viable in times like this. So never, ever discount the influence, certainly the positive influence that you and your business can have as you navigate through this. The E. So we've got BELI, now another E. And this E is endurance. In order to get breakthrough, which is that first B, you have to be able to endure. So endurance comes along for the ride. We don't get breakthrough falling off the wagon. We don't get breakthrough quitting. We don't get breakthrough bowing out. We grow through stamina. We grow through endurance. We get better through consistency. We endure no matter what that looks like, because that's the only way we see what we're capable of, what we're made of, what we have to be able to succeed. If you are not enduring right now, that's a big hole in your business. And a lesson, start writing down what life lesson I've learned through endurance. That's all a part of the program. If I'm struggling with endurance right here, ask yourself, where's my influence? Ask yourself, did I miss some life lessons along the way? And if I'm learning those life lessons now, let me write down what those look like for me. Ask yourself, what is creatively emerging? What can be in here right now that can help me right now? Because that is a big factor of being able to believe and win through the crisis is we in it for the long haul, folks. I know. And for some, you've already said, that's it. I'm done. I'm going back to work for Chuck. Okay. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to corporate America. I can't do this. Your endurance is done. You done tapped out. Okay. I get it. But for some of us who are in this for the long haul, yes, I'm telling you, it's going to get lean and mean. But in my belief along this journey, as I spoke to what this is a journey, God has shown me that as long, even when it gets lean and mean means it don't look and feel good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. And sometimes I will tell you, it might even hurt. But if your basic needs are taken care of, folks, you're doing well. If your basic needs are still being taken care of, you're okay. You'll get through the process. Some of those wants we probably can't get, but some of the if the basic needs are being taken care of and you can get through the process, you can endure through this and still come out a rock star. But what I find and what you will find in this program is that we're not capable of endurance because we in this moment realize we haven't invested into growth and development. We haven't invested professionally. We haven't invested personally. And that's why we can't endure. Okay. Some of us are seeing now, we haven't been willing to even invest in our business because in order for your business to endure, you've got to invest. And so we're seeing that now up close and personal right now. And so that E for endurance is really out there to let us know all the reasons why it's good to continue to grow so I can build up stamina. And why do we go to the gym? We got to continue exercising. I exercise, I exercise, I exercise. We got to continue doing that so that when the storm comes, when crisis comes, I'm good. I can rely on what I've built up, what I've worked on, what I've developed to be able to manage through whatever that crisis looks like and still be able to win. And you always remember, and I think I've heard this even with fighting, you can be bigger than I and even a whole lot more muscular than I am. But that doesn't mean you win the fight. Because if you haven't worked on endurance, you can still lose. And so we can put on all the facades of the things so that people can see. But endurance is what we see when all of this is over. Endurance is what we see in the end because that's what shines. Okay. So we're down to the V, and the V is value. And I use that in my belief system model too. And it is very relevant here is value. And that is even now, you've got to know and be able to determine what your value is in the marketplace. But more importantly, where's your value to you? What are you seeing as your own value for you? And then what does that value look like to the people that you serve, to the industry, to the economy, to the community? What is also a critical part of this process, because endurance and the lessons and the influence and even what emerges out of this is the value that really needs to be showing. And if we don't know our value during crisis, then our value will become irrelevant when this is all over. Okay. I just want everybody to really remember that and know that is that if we don't know our value now, then our value becomes irrelevant when this is over. This is a big part of being able to believe and win through the crisis, because believing means I understand my worth. I understand what I offer and what I bring to the marketplace. And I understand my customers and I understand what my customers needs. And they know that from me. When you have customers reaching out to you, that means they understand your value. When you have people who are saying to you, hey, I need you for this. When you have people reaching out, hey, what resources do you have for this? They're understanding your value. And so you got to remember that you have to have value in order to be relevant. Okay. And so think about that as we continue to the E, because the E is the final E in this believe model of believing through crisis. And I'm just really geeked, and I'm not giving you all of it, but I'm just excited about being able to share this, because the last E is essential. That E is the word essential, because as we believe through crisis and we win through crisis, and one of the unique things that we've heard through all of this is we have the essential workers that are the only ones who have to be able to, who are allowed to work right now. So from government and everything, we've decided who is the essential worker and who is not. And it could be, and there's a whole bunch of risk factors that go along with that. But what I want you to hear from me is that at the end of all of this, everyone has to be essential. And as an entrepreneur, you have to find a way so that not only you are essential now, but you are essential when this is over. Because if you can't find a way for yourself to be essential and relevant now, then again, you will not be influential or essential when this is over. So believing through this, and this is a mindset thing, folks, because every one of these that I mentioned, from breakthrough to emerge to lessons learned to influence to endurance to value and essential, starts here. It starts here and moves to here. And then it's a whole lot of action in between. And folks, what we got to be able to do is to operate in each and every one of these, knowing that what drives this is here. And I subscribe to a model that says, as an entrepreneur, each and every one of us has limitless potential. Even right now, we have limitless potential, because that limitless word starts here. And that's going to determine how you start. That's going to determine how you respond. That's going to determine that, because how you respond and how you manage in this crisis is going to be the results that you get in the end. And whatever that looks like, it's going to reinforce whatever that is. And if you want breakthrough, you've got to endure. If you want breakthrough, you've got to believe and you got to see it. You've got to learn that we're going to emerge through this wiser, better, stronger. You've got to, along this journey, reach back and grab those life lessons and get the ones you're learning right now. You've got to recognize that even now, you've got to be of influence, but you got to endure through the journey. It's a journey that's there. And even after this, the journey still exists for us. And you got to know your value you're bringing to the marketplace. But more importantly, you got to be essential. As an entrepreneur, you have to know that you are essential. You've got to operate in that. But more importantly, folks, you got to believe it. This is how I'm operating now as I manage through this model. And yes, I'm excited to be able to share this with you. And again, I encourage you to tune into LinkedIn, tune into Facebook, and all the social medias. You're going to see some graphics, and I'm going to encourage you to join some weekly calls and sessions as I talk even deeper about each one of these letters in the Believe in Crisis model. But I hope this was helpful to you all as entrepreneurs, and I hope this is something that you can take and work on and continue to work on. This is a journey. So even after this, folks, I want you to be working through this model. Continue to work through this model, because this is going to get you winning in crisis. But it starts with believing. And I just want to leave you with this quote. And this quote I always like to share with folks at the end of me talking is, it takes a moment, just a moment, to believe through crisis. But for a lot of us, it's going to take a lifetime, even this crisis, before we get and start believing. And it only takes a moment to shift the mind and start applying some of this stuff that I've told you today. And so I'm asking each and every one of you today to make today your moment. and tell yourself, I'm going to take each and every one of these things that the Believe Coach has shared with me today, and I'm going to apply those tips and tools, and I'm going to believe so that I can win in crisis. And so, with that, I thank you. And again, Shantina, I thank you for allowing me this opportunity and to be able to share with the folks here.
Wow, let me go ahead and come back up here. Oh my goodness. When I tell you that was just absolutely phenomenal. Let me make sure that I bring this view back so that we can both get on here and be able to see. As you see, I am working through it to be able to make sure. I'm trying to see exactly.
That's right.
Let's see how we do this. Let's see. I want to get back up on here with you.
And it's okay. We got your lovely face, so you good so far.
You can? Okay. Oh. You can see it or not. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so
it's your picture, but it's okay.
Okay, it's my picture, but see, I want to be side by side with
you. Hit your camera right at the bottom.
Okay, so hit my camera right at the bottom.
Yeah, it should have an X on it. There you go.
Okay. Oh, I know what it is. I highlighted you. There we go. Oh my goodness. Thank you. You see there? And you know what? And I'm like, I do this, but I can't remember. So I was just, because guess what? If I'm going to be real honest with you, I was taking notes. And I had totally forgotten that I was the host, that I'm the production manager.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
We got to wear all the hats here.
That's right. Exactly. You are so right. You just truly just touched. I know for me, and I posted on my page, but I have some other ones that I am going to do. But when you're talking about belief, oh my goodness, Nick, Coach Nick, this is amazing. But if you have not worked on endurance, you will lose.
Absolutely.
When I tell you, when you said that, I said, oh my goodness. Many times we want to run away, right? From the most challenging things, but that builds up our endurance. Yep. Oh my goodness, you spoke it. I just cannot wait until that comes out. I don't know. I didn't even catch did you give us the information?
Yes, you're going to, within the next week, you're going to see the B come out. The breakthrough is going to kick us off. You're going to see that come out within the next week. And we're going to start off with that one. We're going to do a call and we're going to have some great discussion around it. And my goal is to give as many tools as I can to be able to help us get through the process. And I'm going to have some calls and even some group coaching on this so that we really, really, really can make this happen. So stay tuned, Miss Shantina, because I might be calling on you to talk to the group and
whatever
really
you
share.
Need.
Yes.
Whatever you need. Wow. I am excited about this. You don't even understand. This is definitely necessary in this put it this way, is necessary all of our lives, but imagine just right now in this time, this time. Wow. Absolutely. That's so powerful.
Absolutely.
Man. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so very much, Nick.
Thank you.
I'm here to serve whatever it is that you need for me to do. I am here. And I thank you so much for lending your time and your talents and gifts to the stage of My City, My Biz, My Live magazine.
And thank you for letting me be a part of it. I appreciate you.
You are so welcome. Have a great one, Nick. Thank you. And we will continue to believe. Thank you.
Yes. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. All righty. So everyone, you've heard from the Believe Coach, Nick Dillon. Oh my goodness. You was able to hear some nuggets being dropped. But that's what it's about, everyone. That's exactly why we have My City, My Biz, not only the expos, but the live magazine, so that we can be able to bring you some amazing entrepreneurs live so they can share what it is that they do, so that they can also just pour their gifts out into you, but also so that you can be able to know who are these entrepreneurs worldwide and what is it that they have to offer to the entire world that you need to make sure that you're connecting to them on. Well, this other segment has been brought to you by SGGN Group, which is an entrepreneur society, and they specialize in business and lifestyle. So you'll see me as one of those coaches that's coaching, but also I have coaches in residence that you will have the opportunity to meet pretty soon. So everyone continue to keep believing, as Nick Dillon said, but also guess what? We have to make sure that we continue to present the best of who we are, where we are, and always stop pressing the snooze buttons on your dreams. So I am Shantina Gladney, truly thankful to be a part of this amazing, amazing platform and the segment of believe in times like this, but also continue to believe whenever possible. Take care, everyone. Take charge, and we will see you somewhere around the city, these virtual streets right now, and we will definitely make sure that you continue to shine online. Bye-bye.